So I'm going to be talking about the three arts. It's very fascinating. The first is art in the curriculum. The second is art enhanced learning. And the third is art integrated curriculum. Now you think all of it is the same, but it isn't. The first one is art as education, art as learning, or art for art's sake. In this, the children learn art, the skill of art, they learn drawing, they learn coloring, they learn mixing, they learn everything that is about art. Now the next one is art enhanced learning. Art enhanced learning is often mistaken for art integrated learning, but it isn't. There's a distinct difference in them. So this is art where it enhances your learning. I'll give you a very simple example. Is what we do in pre-primary when we're learning the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That is using music to learn the alphabets. But the children are not learning music per se, and they could be using any rhythm or anything. What they're learning is the alphabet. So they're not enhancing their musical skills in this. But the most beautiful of all is art integrated learning. This is when art becomes the approach to teaching and the vehicle for learning. Here the students meet a dual learning objective. The creative process of drawing and the subject they're going to be actually learning. For example, we have this very beautiful thing in our book where they're learning lines and they're learning angles. And to introduce lines and angles, we're first asking them to do this beautiful Kandinsky painting. So when they do this Kandinsky painting, they're introduced to lines and angles. Another one is where they're going on doing abstract art of triangles and they're going on practicing it. So here they're learning art and they're learning the subject geometry. So they're learning two together, and that is the beauty of it. What we are talking about in this book is visual arts. Of course, this can be done in different types of art. They can be done through music. They can be, oh yes, we have this beautiful section in this book where we are introducing a subject like animals through drama. In the little children, when they're learning about animals, the first thing they're doing is the animal walk. An animal, a tiger walking, a dog walking, an elephant walking, that they're doing, and they're learning about animals through walk, and then they're going to interpret it as a visual art, and that is the whole thing about art integrated learning. For me, art is very important. Art is a very, very important part of learning, and it should be used at all levels. We're really lucky that the NCFSE 2023 is encouraging art in learning. So what is art for me? Art is ART, action, reflection, transformation. So when we're doing an art and we're doing this beautiful painting, or we're doing a beautiful dance piece, or whatever we're doing, and then we reflect on it. And after we reflect on what we have done, there is a transformation. So art is action, reflection, transformation. And I think it's the most important part of learning or a teaching methodology. Constructivist theory of learning. That's the theory which our books are based on. Creative Connect is based on the constructivist theory of learning. Research suggests that humans learn best when they're supported through constructivist theory of learning. Why is that? Because it reflects characteristics of effective learning that include active, experiential, reflective, social, evolving, and focused on problem solving. These are the points that are stressed on in the NCFSE 2023. This is what we have used at every step. So these books are not merely art books. When you do even one page in this art book, you're doing active learning, which is there in all art books, I understand, but it's experiential and it's reflective. Every page of this and every page in the teacher's compass has reflection. So reflection is ongoing from the time the children start the work till the work is over and after that too. Social learning, that's the best way because this is not a competitive way of learning. There is no copying because you're just doing what you can do. So invariably the children are sitting in a circle and doing it. That's the best way they can socialize while learning. Then it's evolving and focused on problem solving. For example, when the children learn angles and rectangles, etc., they have to draw the angles, rectangles, etc., that they see in real life. So when we say, can you see an angle in a scissor? So let's draw a scissor. And what about the angles when we see in a pizza? And we don't think of that. And now this is carried forward. So when they do this problem solving, their minds have started working through reflection and they're going to be continuously doing it. So not only are they drawing, but they now started seeing angles in real life. That's what it's about. Art integration provides learning experience that reflects all these characteristics. And this is what we have used in our book. For example, problem solving. We've addressed it and we created a very beautiful page in this book, which is learning from real life when you're learning geometry and learning angles. So we have a door, we have scissors, we have a pizza, and we have angles like these, which you see in everyday life. And once you've drawn these objects, it just starts a cycle of learning, and then everywhere you're going, you're seeing angles, and you're seeing triangles, and you're seeing different type of shapes that are in geometry, and then you just become so familiar with it. I think this is the most incredible type of problem solving. When we talk of art integration, we talk of different kinds of arts. When I'm talking about visual arts, visual arts plays a vital role in learning. What is visual arts? Fine arts, which include painting, drawing, sculpture. In the 20th and the 21st century, applied arts and crafts was also included in visual arts. And then, of course, contemporary arts, which also falls under the umbrella of visual arts. And that includes happenings, performing arts, and art installation. You would be surprised to find we've tried to use most of these in our book, Creative Connects. How does visual art help in learning? You would be surprised when you see the long list. Creative thinking, critical thinking, project-based learning, motor skills, language skills, social skills, decision-making, a very interesting thing called risk-taking, inventiveness, and geometric reasoning. All of these and more can be learned through art integration. Now I'm going to talk about language skills. If you open to Creative Connect Book 3 on page number 4, we start there, Visual Association Drawing. And the title says, draw two things that come to your mind when you read the word that's given below. So it's sky, water, beach, bottle, and tree. And it goes on, continues to the next one, which is creating a graphic story. Create a graphic story with at least 3 words in each of your page. That is on page 5, you will see. And the clues that are given are sky, water, beach, and tree. Now it says in the first square, draw sky that was bright and clear. Then the second one is a small bottle floated on water. The third is it washed up on the beach next to the tree. The thing is, we've given 3 rectangles for you to draw in. We're not telling you what to draw. The only clue is that you have to draw a sky that is bright and clear. It could have the sun, it could have birds, it could be, with the sea and beach. It's really up to the child and the student to do what they want. Then it goes further up where we have used word association drawings. Choose 3 words from the following: fruit, flower, birds, river, morning, winter, sun, sky, and garden. Now use your imagination and draw and color what the word might look in nature. Isn't that interesting? And finally, I love this one, the nature story. Write a short story about nature, just 3 or 4 lines, not more than that. And then draw and color a picture that resembles your story. You can use ideas or prompts from the previous activity. Isn't that a wonderful way to learn language? Risk-taking. That's a very important thing you're going to be practicing while you're doing an art book. Isn't it interesting? Well, you're not putting yourself to physical danger, but you're actually putting yourself to mental risk-taking. After you've done the painting, your self-esteem is going to be really high. So in grade 4, when they're learning how to preserve food, one of the ways is canning. Now that would be so boring, just drawing cans. Well, we have made it very interesting, and that is you have to do Andy Warhol's pop art. Yes, you have to do a can in the pop art style. That's a lot of risk-taking, isn't it? Well, because these are art books, there's a lot of creative thinking which happens on every page. But how about it if creative thinking and critical thinking go hand in hand? There are lots of ones, but I'm going to give you this one beautiful example, grade 5, when they're doing microorganisms. Well, first of all, they have to draw and color microorganisms. Yeah, that's a given. What's so creative about that? Well, I'll tell you what you have to do next. The next is you have to do these microorganisms in a cartoon style. That's great fun, isn't it? For grade 5 to do these organisms, which sometimes can be so drab. How about cartoons? Isn't it interesting? So, in this book, you're going to be learning a lot of life skills. That is, of course, you're learning creative thinking, critical thinking, decision making, problem solving, but you're also going to learn a lot about yourself. And on page 33 in book 5, we have this very beautiful self-portrait that you have to do, which is called Each One is Unique. This self-portrait is divided in 2 bits. One where you're doing originally what a girl or a boy looks like, and the second part of the portrait, you have to do things you like, dreams you have, places you want to see, and use that in your portrait. Isn't that interesting? The NCFSE 2023 also encourages students to learn about their culture and heritage through art. Well, that's something we missed in school, didn't we? Of course, we learned the dances and the songs, but we didn't learn the beautiful arts. So that's what we have in our book. For example, on page 34 and 35, you have to do Madhubani and Varli. Yes, so you're learning how to do Madhubani paintings, you're learning about Varli, and then in a very interesting twist, when the children are learning about transportation, they have to make this beautiful train, which is 1/3 Varli, 1/3 in realism, and 1/3 in Madhubani. Social skills. Of course you learn, because this is not a normal classroom where you just sit quietly and going on writing. Here you're painting and you're drawing and you're seeing what the other people are doing and things like that, and you learn a lot of social skills. For example, when some kids were doing our book, in fact they were just in grade 2, and one of the guys says that I don't have brown, and then a little girl near him says, if you mix red and blue together you'll get brown, and try it out. So, or you could add a little bit of black to red and then you'll still get brown. And that was so interesting. So, you're learning how to collaborate, you're learning social skills, but there's another different type of social skills which you're learning in this book, and I'm really happy to see that page. Page 12, where the children are learning to paint the traditional Ludo game in Madhubani. And then they have to draw a Lagori scene where they're playing a traditional game. Now, games are so important. They're such an important part of learning. And we've used that as the drama activity in the lesson. So first, the children have to play Lagori in mime or in statues. And then after they've understood what the game is, they have to draw it and color it. Project-based learning. I know most of the time the parents are doing the project, and that's not a good way of learning. Don't you think so? I think the kids should just do it in the classroom, or maybe with a little bit of help from adults. Well, we've included a very, very interesting thing in our book. It's on page 24 and 25 in book 3. And it is designing a postcard. And they have to design the postcard, and then they have to also design the stamp. So they have to draw and then color, and then the extension activity is when they take the postcard and actually create their own design and post it. I really don't understand why we don't think of geometry as art. Geometric reasoning happens so easily and wonderfully in the art book. I want to show you how. Grade 4, page 4, 5, 6 and 7. Tessellation. Tessellation is art, isn't it? So they have to first do triangles, which tessellate easily. Then a choice of theirs like a hexagon. Then they also have to do shapes which don't tessellate. So it's so easy to understand tessellation and see that, oh, this is not tessellating well. So obviously the ovals and the circles that don't. And then finally they learn tessellation of irregular shapes, and they have to make this beautiful graphic of cats. Visual art helps decision making. You know something? We are terrible at decision making, and we need to practice it all the time. So, an easy activity for grade 1, where we've given them fun shapes like circles, triangles, squares, rectangles, oval, heart and star. And then that's on page 29, by the way. So they have to draw living and non-living things using these shapes. That's such a good way to start decision making, isn't it? Book 5, page 10 and 11. Real inventiveness. They are learning the human lung. Grade 5, yes. So the first one, a drawing, is connect the dots and color it, where they draw the actual lung correctly as it is in biology. But the next step is that they have to do it in M.F. Hussein's Cubist style. Isn't that an interesting way to learn biology? Grade 5, yes, page 36. So much creative thinking, so much critical thinking, and a lot of decision making and problem solving when they have to do this beautiful turtle in 7 artistic styles. And the styles that are recommended are Zentangles, Madhubani, Cubism, Varley, Realism, Pencil shading and warm colors. These are all the different styles that they have learned before, and now they have to incorporate it in one drawing. Creative Connects is a very, very well thought of book, and it's created for a lot of learning. Not only is it going to be art integration, but the children are also going to learn different types of art. They're going to meet our culture, they're going to see foreign painters, Indian painters, etc. So I'll tell you what all. They're going to learn Varli, Madhubani, Santhal, Kalighat and Gond style. They're going to learn Indian artists like M.F. Hussain and Gemini Roy. They're going to meet Western painters like Pablo Picasso, Andy Warhol, Malevich and Kandinsky. They're going to learn Cubist, pop art, suprematistic, abstract and realistic styles. Isn't that a lot to learn? It's going to be really interesting.